I've been running around this morning preparing for this episode all morning long and yesterday, and still I needed to make 2 syrups and run around for like 35 to 40 minutes before we actually start to shoot, which is really crazy to me because you would think that if I've been preparing for this episode for like the last 24 hours that I would be more prepared than I actually ended up being.
You would think, yeah.
You would think, but you know, I don't know if it's just like, I don't know where the breakdown is. Is it because I have a lot to do? Is it because I have kids? Is it because I have to run around? Or is it just like I'm just overwhelmed with too much information? I don't know. Today we're gonna be doing an episode that I've been ignoring for, like, just blatantly ignoring for a very long time. People have been asking me to do something like this for a while, and it really took a long time for me to figure out, you know, really just wrap my head around how to do this episode. And that is, how do you sub Amari in cocktails? I'm getting a call, so hold please. Ooh, not gonna answer it. Send him to voicemail. The episode that I have been ignoring, one that people have been asking for, is how do you sub Amari in cocktails? And the reason why I've been ignoring this isn't because I don't love you guys, because I really do love and appreciate and I'm grateful for every single one of you guys watching this video right now, and those that have subbed the channel that for some odd reason don't watch the videos that much. The fact of the matter is Amari are regional Italian products, typically made with blends of herbs and citrus elements from the region that they reside. And so none of them are really that subbable. It's not like you have products that come out that then mimic the flavor of those products, like the Faccia Bruto mimicking green chartreuse. You just don't have that much in the Amari world. And maybe that's forthcoming as Amari gets more popular, but there was really no good answer. Until one day I was thinking about it and I thought, you know what, instead of trying to equate the flavor, right? Because you're not gonna do that. And the flavor does play into it a bit. What we should really be thinking about is the level of sweetness, the amount of sugar that is in the Amaro, and the amount of bitterness that is in the Amaro. Although you will make the cocktail different by subbing out these different Amari, if it's got the same amount of sugar and the same level of bitterness about, then you can sub them out in a cocktail pretty successfully, I would think. And so today, what we're gonna do is we're going to make 3 cocktails, and we're gonna make them with a bunch of different Amari. We're gonna make the original cocktail first and taste it, then we're gonna sub some Amari out and kind of talk about the differences. So what I've done is taken the Amari and put them into 3 different categories: mild, moderate, and strong. And we're gonna see how well this method works. Am I just completely wrong about it and this is just gonna fall flat, or am I onto something? Today, we find out. So obviously we're gonna start with the mild category of Amaro. We're starting with Amaro Nonino, Amaro Montenegro, and Vecchio Del Capo, and we're gonna be putting it in a paper plane. I think this is gonna be like a really good cocktail because although it has some Aperol in it, it's not gonna take away from the Amaro flavors, and we're really gonna be able to tell the difference, and it's also one of those like killer drinks that everybody loves. All right, so we are going to do the original paper plane first. So 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, 3/4 ounce of Aperol, 3/4 ounce of Amaro Nonino, 3/4 ounce of Bourbon. All right, oh, actually I have some ice in here. Like, what is going on? And I just realized that I pulled out a Nick and Nora, not the right glass. Usually I like to put a lemon twist on these guys, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna taste it as is. The paper plane that we all know and love. It's very astringent and bitter from the lemon and the Aperol. The Amaro Nonino is bringing in the sugar, and you do taste it. The real test is gonna be what happens when we sub it. So first sub up is gonna be the Vecchio, which has a little bit more mint flavor. Well, definitely a different color. And a more orangey, a darker Amaro here. I mean, it works beautifully, but it's a much different drink. There's a lot more mint, kind of mentholated flavor inside the Vecchio, but the Vecchio still has like good sugar content, so it definitely carries the cocktail. And it is similar, of course, because you have a lot of similar ingredients, but that Amaro gives it a different kind of depth than you would get from the Nonino, which is a little bit lighter. That being said, both of them are, you know, in this mild Amaro category, I think. Gotta say, I might actually kind of like the Vecchio in it a little better. It gives it like a little twinge of mint right on the back of your palate as you swallow, and it's so good. See, that's the thing, is that you might not be able to sub your Amari perfectly, but you might find something that you like better. And the next one that we're gonna be doing for this cocktail is the Amaro Montenegro. Amaro Montenegro has 40 different botanicals inside it, but the most prominent last flavor that you taste is really like black licorice forward. So that would be like an anise flavor. And it's gonna give this cocktail a different spin. I think it's gonna go really well in the drink though. What my sense tells me is that it's gonna be a little bit like the Vecchio was with mint, but with a different flavor profile. Oh, wow. That one's good too. I'm digging an Amaro Montenegro paper plane. It's almost a little bit more subtle, but then you get this sort of cola nut anise on the back palate. I know a lot of people are turned off by anise, but the way that Montenegro balances those flavors is really good. It's still astringent and you still get the Aperol. I wanna say that the Aperol might even amplify a cola nut flavor. And I don't want to confuse anyone because I don't know that cola nut is used in Amaro Montenegro at all, but I do, like in this cocktail, I do get like a cola nut vibe. So they're all very good. They're all pretty different, but they all hold up in the same cocktail. Now let's see if it's true for the moderate Amaros. So for our moderate Amari, I picked Cynar, Ramazzotti, and Averna. All of them have a similar level of bitterness, and they also have some similar vibes, although the Ramazzotti definitely plays up cola nut and has that in its makeup, which I think would be pretty good in this cocktail that we're doing. We're gonna be doing an Artichoke Hold. So Jeremy Oertel is the bartender that made it at Donna originally in New York City. And I thought it would be a nice one to sort of play with. The Averna is very intensely sweet, but it has a lot of the same sort of astringency and bitterness of the other two. So I would definitely call these all moderate. Let's see how they do in the cocktail. All right, so 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce of Orgeat, 1/2 ounce of Saint Germain, 3/4 an ounce Jamaican rum, preferably Smith & Cross. And for the original, it is called an Artichoke Hold. We will be doing 3/4 of an ounce of Cynar, wonderful. I mean, really about the interplay of the Jamaican rum and then the bitterness on the finish is really nicely balanced. You're not tasting one over the other, although you do get a lot of the rum right up front and you get the Amaro on the back end. I guess we'll do Averna this time. Oh, whoa. The Amaro really brings out a lot of depth in the Jamaican rum, and you're getting similar, but like a little bit different notes. Like it plays up this banana flavor, it plays up the funk. It's deeper in the back of your palate. It's a little bit sweeter. You still get the, nice tartness from the lime juice, and you get all of those Jamaican rum notes. Even some of that, like I've been saying this a lot, I think, in this video, but like like astringency on the back of your palate. I might like this more than Cynar. It's pretty damn good. So this is the original, the Cynar. This is with Averna. She's gonna be a little more intensely sweet, and so it gives the lime a better balance, I think. And then it also is deeper in flavor, so you get nice full flavor, and then also supports the rum really well. One last thing to do, let's make it one more time, and this time using the Ramazzotti. I chose this one specifically for the cola nut. Much more sweet, almost unbalanced in the sweet realm. Definitely a lot of cola nut coming forward. Still very good though. I mean, for those of you that like a sweeter drink, you still get the tartness of the lime. It's just a bit sweeter. Cola nut, really coming through. And then of course you get all of that rum as well, and it's nicely supported. Yeah, the Orgeat, I haven't talked about what Orgeat is doing in here, but the way that I make my Orgeat is that when I do the almond milk and the sugar together, I usually do it in a 1 to 1 1/4 ratio. And then on top of that, I put a little cognac in there and I put a little amaretto, and that amaretto gives it a very nice kind of bear claw marzipan vibe that I'm digging in this as well. And I think that just like marzipan note plays well in all of these cocktails. I think my favorite was the Averna, but the Ramazzotti is definitely worth trying out, especially for people who like a sweeter, like a little bit sweeter of a cocktail. But again, all of them are very good cocktails. And we're gonna be getting into Strong Amari. We're going with Fernet Branca because there's nothing stronger than that. I picked the Braulio because it has a lot of mint in its flavor profile. And then Zucca, I don't know if Zucca like really qualifies as like a strong Amaro. I think it does. No, I mean, it's pretty strong. It's rhubarb Amari. It's pretty strong. It's a lot different than the Fernet and the Braulio. The cocktail that we're doing is called A Color in Your Cheeks. It is from bartender Haley Wilson of the port line of the Portland Hunt and Alpine Club in Portland, Maine, not Portland, Oregon.
And not up there in Oregano?
Not up in Oregano. It's up in the old Maine. So let's do this. 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, 3/4 ounce of grade A maple syrup, 1/2 ounce of Applejack, or if you want to do like a VSOP Calvados, you can do that. And then we're gonna do 1.25 ounces of Fernet here. We're gonna just taste the original real quick. I kind of stupidly picked a egg white cocktail for the last one. So it's gonna be a lot of this. Big Rock Ice, big cheater cube. Give it a shake. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Now this drink is just so perfectly formulated for the Fernet, and the Fernet is a main flavor profile. I picked this drink specifically because it has 1.25 ounces of Fernet, so the Amaro is gonna be the most dominant flavor profile in this cocktail. It's supported very nicely by sort of the savory, sweet notes of the maple syrup, and then you've got some really nice tartness from your lemon juice, and then of course texture from the egg white. It is a very good drink. It is very, very Amaro forward, so this is gonna be very instructive when we change the Amaro out. Let's try it with the Braulio first, I think. I think this is gonna be the most similar-ish. And 1.25 ounces. Similar, but a little easier. You still have that mint coming throughout, and the astringency of the Amaro and the bitterness kind of playing up. Also allowing a lot more of the Applejack to come through and a lot more of the maple syrup to come through as well. And so you have a very similar flavor profile that's just a little bit easier and less in your face. So that is the Color in Your Cheeks with the Braulio. And last up we have our Zucca, which is a rhubarb Amaro. We'll see how this goes. Seems to me a little lighter, more tan. A little bit unbalanced in the sweetness, but it does add a very interesting flavor profile, much different than the other two. Again, this one gives me a kind of a Coca-Cola vibe. It definitely tends towards sweetness. It's a tiny bit unbalanced. Like I think that, you know, might need to like adjust the amount of maple syrup in it. It is also very good. All of the flavors definitely complement one another, so it's a good cocktail. It just needs tweaking. And there you have it, the 3 colors in your cheeks using the 3 Strong Amari.
Coca-Cola is kind of a non-alcoholic sweetened Amari.
Yeah, it kind of is, yeah. It's just like made with a bunch of
botanicals
roots and barks and stuff, yeah.